So I think realistically, Interview with a Monster, the recording process, it took a long time. It took quite a while actually, and not because I didn't really have the substance or the material that I wanted to use for the album, but in making sure that the way that it was put together was exactly the way that I wanted it to be. And by that was I was really going for getting back to my underground roots. I was definitely going back into getting into the phase where the records were boom bap and the kicks were hard and the snares were crisp and the hooks were on point and the tracks that did had the cuts on them had legitimate DJs that were doing what they can do to it. But not only that, the most important aspect was being able to convey what it was that I truly felt at the moment. To go back and do them records that I used to wait for, like when I used to wait for, you know, the Nas albums or the Mobb Deep albums or the Wu-Tang albums. Like you had this feeling like you were just waiting for that heavy knock, that what I call like hoodie music, you know what I'm saying? Where you put the hoodie on and you end up winning and you just head bobbing and listening to this stream of consciousness, but they still had the street narrative behind it. Like that's something that is definitely lacking in what we do in music. So I kind of approached every record like that. Like I waited in certain sections to do, or certain times of the season to do certain records because that's what I was feeling like when I was getting into the booth. My producer Beatniks, who actually has the majority of the production on this album, would sit here with me for hours and just craft what it was that I wanted. Like if I wanted to kick a certain way, a snare a certain way, if we were chopping some sample up and we needed it to be rolling along a certain line or cut up in a 4/4 or something structured completely different, I made sure that if we spent only 4 hours, 5 hours doing the beat and only 1 hour recording, that was fine with me as long as the beat was where it's at. And the end result was something definitely incredible. It was something that once I heard the final playback of everything and I started going in and I was lacing lyrics and I was putting stuff down and I was hanging the hooks in the right places, we would actually sit back and just kind of look at each other and be like, all right, that's where we need to be. Like that's fire. That's where it needs to be. And ultimately, the album got finished, and when it finally wrapped, I'll tell you, man, I had this complete state of euphoria running around me. I was listening to the record. We were rocking it in the whip. We were driving around. We were listening through the headphones while I'm working out, while I'm on my way to work, and I'm pumping it over and over. And I finally sat back and was like, man, I created exactly what it was that I wanted to do, and I'm ready to move on to the next one. So, you know, Interview with a Monster, definitely a monster, and I can't wait for the master to hear it. Incredible record, incredible.